This is gonna get crazy. In a very rare move, the French president and his wife are suing far-right podcaster Candace Owens for defamation.
It is a patently, egregiously, ungrounded, false, unsubstantiated theory. It's exactly that, a conspiracy theory.
When you've risen to that station, everybody has a right to question you, no matter what they're questioning. Why would you sue them over it?
Really? The first couple of France can't leave their home in France without worrying that people believe the deranged nonsense from this American podcaster?
Based on this story and how they're reacting, I'm starting to think that maybe Brigitte Macron actually is a man.
Whereas the alleged defamation here, it centers on the unfounded claim that French President Emmanuel Macron's wife, Brigitte Macron, is in fact transgender. And although this conspiracy theory predates her talking about it, Candace Owens has been the most prominent advocate for it over the past couple of years, with her even declaring last year that she is willing to stake her entire professional reputation on the claim that it is true. And since then, she's released an 8-part series on the topic titled Becoming Brigitte that accumulated millions and millions of views so far.
I believe Brigitte Macron was born a biological male, okay? And then transitioned into a female. We are told, by the way, that that's Brigitte in her mother's lap. It looks nothing like Brigitte. It could be plausible that all of these people have multiple identities. A family that is known and is on record as having practiced incest. Is there a chance that Brigitte Macron, some of you asked, is actually the father of Emmanuel Macron? That mom and dad, they're not actually his mom and dad. Why and how did Emmanuel Macron get so close to the Rothschilds? Look at her hands. That looks weird. And this is why you can just sort of go down this rabbit hole and it makes you wonder.
And as you could probably tell from those clips, her theories, they get way more, we'll call it adventurous, than the relatively narrow, though still insane idea that Brigitte is trans. Owens also believes that she's older than she claims, that she stole another person's identity, that she's committing incest, and that she's a pedophile. Though that last one, it stems from the fact that Brigitte first met Macron when she was 39 years old and he was her 15-year-old high school drama student. Though also there, the couple has maintained that their relationship always stayed inside the bounds of the law and that they only tied the knot after reconnecting later in life. But then also, beyond that, Owens also seemed to suggest that Brigitte had some kind of connection to Jeffrey Epstein and an elite conspiracy of other pedophiles, where they're similarly claiming that the Macrons are being blackmailed or controlled by the CIA, and as you could maybe guess from the Rothschild comment earlier, there are anti-Semitic undertones to all of this. And if some of this, it sounds familiar, but you're not super familiar with her, it's actually because we talked about some of this a little while back. Right, and that because she had recently claimed that Donald Trump personally called her and asked her that she stop spreading the rumor about Brigitte being trans.
And then continues his narrative and he tells me that Emmanuel Macron is requesting to his face that I stop speaking about his wife. And one of the things Trump said is like, he tells me, she's old and this is really, really impacting her. And then he said, I saw her, Candace, I saw her up close and she looks like a woman to me.
Now, here we are, you have the Macrons themselves suing her in a Delaware court for defamation and seeking unspecified damages. With that complaint alleging that she has waged a lie-filled campaign of global humiliation to promote her podcast and expand her what they called frenzied fan base. With it then going on to state that Owens has dissected their appearance, their marriage, their friends, their family, and their personal history, twisting it all into a grotesque narrative designed to inflame and degrade, saying the result is relentless bullying on a worldwide scale, and adding, it is invasive, dehumanizing, and deeply unjust. But then with all that, in her response video to this, you had Owens being as defiant as really anyone could be.
I have been sued by the first lady man of France. You are officially a very goofy man, Brigitte. But I gotta give it to you, you've definitely got balls. If you need any more evidence that Brigitte Macron is definitely a man, it is just what is happening right now. The idea that you would file this lawsuit is all of the proof that you need. It's a PR strategy. They don't care if they win. This is about running it through the press.
Now with this, some key things, the lawyer that the Macrons hired is Tom Clare, who's also the same guy who represented Dominion in its historic defamation suit against Fox News. And also, in their complaint, they cite evidence which they claim incontrovertibly proves that Brigitte is not trans, including family photos and birth announcements, with Clare telling CNN,
"We have attempted to engage with her for the last year, putting evidence in front of her, request after request after request, that she just simply do the right thing. And each time we've done that, she mocked the Macrons. She mocked our efforts to set the record straight. She refused to retract what she had said. She started a merch campaign. She's selling T-shirts mocking and celebrating her defamation of them. And enough is enough."
But notably, with all this, you even have some who are by no means fans of Owens skeptical that this lawsuit will succeed. Or with, for example, this professor of media ethics and law telling Reuters,
"Under U.S. law, public officials are required to prove actual malice, knowledge of falsity, reckless disregard for the truth. in his lengthy complaint, he has certainly alleged that on the part of this podcaster. But I think he's also probably not giving enough deference to the fact that courts in the United States grant broad discretion to individuals to comment on public officials.
Right, and connected to that, according to Owen, she offered to interview Brigitte before releasing the first episode of Becoming Brigitte, and she argues that that fact, it disproves the actual malice claim. Ultimately, it looks like we're gonna have to wait to see how this plays out in the courtroom, and in that regard, Owens seemed confident.
We are revolting against this. We're revolting against the perverts that run the world. And I want to be very clear here. I count you among them. I think you're sick. I think you're disgusting. And I am fully prepared to take on this battle on behalf of the entire world.
With all that said and laid out, I'd really love to know your thoughts and reactions to what we're seeing here, and also what you think is going to happen.